Hi there. Did you know that your stem iron, and it might not be exactly blue or like this one, but exactly the one that you have at home, is actually a long lost friend of functions. And by the end of this video, you will understand why, and you would have learned how to use functions in Python.
Functions are a block of code that do, or we can say perform, a specific task, right? So we can define them and actually call them. Let us start by calling two popular functions in Python. I'm going to type in first the print function, exactly like this. And I just want to welcome all of you and say hello, students, right? Okay, so I'm going to run this program and we should see our output on the terminal. Hello, students. So the print function is called, and when we call it, it knows that it must print the output. It must show me the output and say hello, students, to all of you. Okay, then let us look at another amazing function. So let us say that now I know your name and I want to greet you by your name. So I can use this function called input to ask you your name, right? So I'm gonna ask you, what is your name? Okay, let us rerun the program. So what is your name? We are only going to focus here because the program just ran. So hello, students was the first output, remember. Now we have the second one, what is your name? But the difference is now we have this thing here, like a prompt. It's asking me what is my name. So I'm not gonna guess anyone's name, I'm just gonna use my name and then click enter. Okay, so you just asked me my name and you did nothing about it, right? Okay, so now to see the name of the person, which function are we going to use? Print or input? We're going to use print, right? Okay, I'm gonna type in print again and I'm gonna greet the person by name, hello, comma, and then I'm gonna put the name outside of the quote. After putting a comma there, I'm gonna type in name, right? Okay, that was a little bit fast, but just pause and get to see what is happening here. I'm going to rerun the program once again. Okay, what is your name? I'm gonna type in my name, enter. Perfect. So now the output is no more just hello, students, but it's hello, and my name. Wow. Now we have a lot of questions, right? What is the difference between this and that? How does the computer know when?
Just like we call the function, I'm going to simply use it. That being said, to call it is to use it. If I want to iron my clothes, I do not need to know how to create one. The engineers or electricians, they're the ones who are responsible for creating something like this. Like manner, that is how we call the print function. We also call the input function without knowing how to create those. But wait a minute, what if we wanted to actually create and use our own function, right? Like for example, we were just ironing. Wouldn't it be cool to create a function that does exactly that? Let's see.
So now we are going to define or create our own function that simulates what a steam iron does. We are going to type the def keyword space and then give our function a name. We can call it steam and complete it by putting the open close parenthesis and a colon. Then we go to the next line immediately. Python will indent. If it didn't do it for us, we just click 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. Now we are going to write the body of the function, right? The body of the function. We are going to type in a print and then stim out, right? To simulate that when you start using your iron, you can just see the steam coming out. Okay, so now let us rerun the program to see the output of the code. Imagine the terminal, and nothing happened. Okay, this is because we just defined the function, and remember, to see what the function does, we have to call it. So just defining it is not enough if we want to see output. So I'm gonna go to line 14 and call stim. Remember, this is exactly how we code print in the input function. Okay, let us rerun the program. See the output. Perfect. Yeah, so we did it. So now we can see that stim output was created, which is the function that simulates our stim iron.
Just like DEF and then the Python keyword, that is what we see inside the steam iron. So this, the body, is DEF, right? And then when we go inside, when we open, which I wouldn't recommend you do, we will see a lot of components inside, even wires inside. That is the body of this amazing steam iron, or what we call a function, right? And then this is manufactured in the factory. That is why we define our function separately and we call it or use it separately. So I'm sure now you know why I said your steam iron is amazingly a function and probably its long lost sister or brother.
Now let us look at the summary and remind ourselves what you have learned today. We understood that a function is simply a block of code that performs a specific task, right? And then we learned how to call a function, which is by just typing print with something or even nothing inside the print function, and also type in hello, world. And we also learned how to call another function, which is input. And the difference was with input, we had to save the input the user has typed in inside a variable and use the print function to see what the input actually was, right? And then lastly, we learned how to define a function using the DEF keyword and calling the function name, which is stim, giving it a name, and then on the next indented 4x4 spaces, then we were able to give it a description of what we wanted to do when we call the function. Okay, and then one last thing is the print function. As you can see, it is highlighted like this, and there is actually a lot happening here, right? So this is its documentation. Because we didn't create the print function, we don't know what it is responsible to do until we open the documentation. You can access this and how to read and find the documentation in the video, the previous video. Likewise, the input function as well, as you can see, and likewise many other functions that are already inside Python. Already Python knows how to perform them because they upload.
Okay, now that you have learned that your amazing steam iron is a function, what if we wanted to remember information using code? In the next episode, we are going to use a mysterious object that all of you guys know, but will be revealed on the next episode. So be sure to subscribe and click that notification bell so that you are notified whenever I post that video as we continue with our amazing code using real life objects that you can find at home. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.